A Texas court indicted Netflix over the film Cuties. Oh, I can't wait for this buffet of stupidity. This would happen in Texas, which isn't exactly known for being a bastion of common sense. That would explain the utter stupidity of the indictment. From Texas Representative Matt Schaefer, quote, Netflix Incorporated indicted by grand jury in Tyler County, Texas, for promoting material in Cuties film which depicts a lewd exhibition of pubic area of a clothed or partially clothed child who was younger than 18 years of age, which appeals to the prurient interest in sex. That's the charge he went with. That Netflix, the distributor of the film, promoted materials in an already produced film for the explicit purpose of prurient interest in sex. That's your case. Okay, you're gonna lose that one, but enjoy. I'm gonna love seeing how you try to prove that intent, because I don't think you can. You would have been better off charging Netflix with distributing obscene materials. That's an easier case to prove, as it relies primarily on whether people would generally find the content objectionable. Instead, you chose a route that requires explicit intent and already has a defense built into it, which Netflix stated in its response to the indictment. Quote, Cuties is a social commentary against the sexualization of young children. This charge is without merit, and we stand by the film. Cuties also won an award and has received critical acclaim from the film industry, which presents a problem because the statute under which Netflix was indicted requires 3 things to be proven, of which Texas can only prove 1. From Texas Penal Code 43.262, quote, a person commits an offense if the person knowingly possesses, accesses with the intent to view, or promotes visual material that 1. Depicts the lewd exhibition of the genitals or pubic area of an unclothed, partially clothed, or clothed child who is younger than 18 years of age at the time the visual material was created. 2. Appeals to the prurient interest in sex. And 3. Has no serious literary, artistic, political, or scientific value. All 3 of those must be found in order for a person to be found guilty of this offense, and therein lies the problem. The first one relies on the nature of the image, but explicitly uses the word lewd because finding the depiction of the genitals or pubic area illegal in general would make it impossible to ever depict children in any visual medium. To make this simple for all of you who can't think more than one step ahead, this is what keeps you from going to jail for taking pictures of your kid in the bathtub or at the beach. Although technically those pictures could still count if people thought it appealed to prurient interest in sex. Prurient means marked by or arousing an immoderate or unwholesome interest or desire. I'm explaining what it means because I know how unhinged this topic makes people, and I know most of them don't know what it means and can't glean it from the context because that would require thinking more than one step ahead, and we know they can't do that. So here's where it gets interesting. Section 2 is meant to cover intent. Basically, was this created for the explicit purpose of sexual gratification? And the answer is no. Oh, I saw the poster, baby. I didn't like it either. But I also watched the trailer. And the impression I got from the trailer was that people were supposed to think the film was about a girl joining a twerking dance crew. Ergo, poster. That you've construed its intent to be sexual is on you. That's coming from your mind. There is nothing from Netflix that states or implies that the imagery was created for the explicit perverse interest in sex. It certainly looks like it was, but what something appears to be and what it actually is are not the same thing. And that's going to be Netflix's defense. That this has been drummed up by a bunch of perverts looking at these girls saying everyone's going to find them sexy. And they kinda got you there. Because if you're looking at this poster and the first thought in your mind is how many people are going to fap to this, you're the pervert. A non-pervert wouldn't immediately think about how people are going to touch themselves. Just saying. But that's probably not going to be how Netflix is going to argue their case. They're probably going to argue that the purpose of the film was to criticize the sexualization of girls, which would fall under artistic and political merit. And I know what you're going to say, but it's not artistic. It's disgusting. Well, here's the problem. That's not how art works. Lots of artistic things are disturbing, perverse, and disgusting on purpose. That's their point. To highlight those things as a form of commentary. Do you want to go through the bevy of films, songs, paintings, poems, and books that people would or have found disturbing, disgusting, and perverse that we now herald as works of art? I don't think you do. A great deal of the things you like would have been wiped out of existence if we went by the "it's only art if I like it" route. The best counter to the "it's art" argument is the point that I made in my criticism of the film, which was echoed by Senator Mike Lee. Quote, What I cannot understand, however, is how Netflix can condemn the conduct depicted in Cuties, while celebrating the film and filmmakers who asked several young girls to stand in front of a camera and engage in the same inappropriate, shameful conduct for all the world to see. It would be one thing if the scenes were tamer or they were shot differently, but the way they were filmed literally does the thing the director says she wants to criticize. It's sexualizing them. For the purpose of making people feel uncomfortable, yes, but it's still sexualizing them. This reminds me of something I saw years ago. A photojournalist did a photo essay on boys who were sex workers. They were from some South Asian country. He interviewed them, asking about their lives and how they got involved in selling themselves, and took pictures of them, with their shirts off. Normally this wouldn't be a problem because it looked like the pictures were taken in a warm climate, so it wouldn't be unusual for the boys to be shirtless. However, the boys were shot from head to hips, giving the impression the boys were nude. People got upset, and the guy didn't understand why. His point was to show how the boys' clients viewed them, by literally showing how they viewed them. That's what Cuties did. Well-intentioned, badly executed. Like the photographer, the Cuties director should have considered how people would perceive what she was doing. Like I said in my video, I doubt the girls were forced to do anything, but people overreacted to what they saw, making wild shit up like Ted Cruz saying things like, quote, "It is likely that the filming of this movie created even more explicit and abusive scenes, and that pedophiles will manipulate and imitate this film in abusive ways." Again, if that's your first thought, you're the pervert. There's no reason to assume at all, based on anything from the film or the interviews conducted with the filmmakers, that they recorded more explicit and abusive scenes that chomos will get off on because you all seem to know the minds of those people oh so well. Tell me more about how pedophiles think, since you're such experts. This is like when people found out that the filmmakers auditioned 650 girls, and people's immediate thought was, what did they have them do? What sexual dances did they force them to do? What did all those men do with all the videos from the auditions? Yes, what did all three of the all-female casting crew do with the videos of 11-year-old girls auditioning to be stuck-up bullies? Whatever could they have asked those girls to do in an audition for a 96-minute-long film that only had 10 minutes of dancing? Why would they need to audition 650 girls for 5 roles, coming out to 130 girls per character, for a film that requires 11-year-olds to be in every scene and literally carry the film? It couldn't possibly be that most 11-year-olds are shitty actors, and trying to find one who can carry a film is hard, let alone finding 4 more that have enough off-screen chemistry that they can plausibly pretend to be friends on film. No. The only reason 3 grown women chose to audition 650 girls was so that they could make scores of audition videos of girls whose parents would be in the fucking room, twerking for the camera while never bothering to find out if any of them could act for more than 5 seconds. Think more than 1 step ahead. I know you're outraged. You're so outraged. You're so outraged by the exploitation of children that you canceled your Netflix account. And that solved the problem. It's not happening anymore. All butts are untouched now that you've stopped watching a streaming service you forgot you were even paying for. But on the off chance that there are still children being abused, I'm sure all of you so concerned about it that you canceled your streaming service, donated that money to an organization that helps abused children. Of course you did. Just like your mass revolt from Netflix has crippled the company. Oh, wait. Quote, while Netflix did initially take a hit with a surge of canceled subscriptions, recent data provided by 7 Park Data showed that the backlash against the streamer over the movie essentially subsided after a week of Cuties' release. Within the first few days of the movie's arrival to Netflix, canceled subscriptions hit a peak of about 5 times the churn rate of January 1st, 2019, Variety reported. However, a week later, cancellations have subsided to previous levels. What is it that you Texans like to say? Oops. We'll see where this indictment goes. As they say, a district attorney could get a grand jury to indict a ham sandwich if he wanted to, so that some Texas court got the indictment doesn't really say much. What this will do is potentially set a precedent for how we treat controversial media. And because I'm someone capable of thinking more than 1 step ahead, I'm concerned that Texas might succeed in this case, because this could very easily set the stage for going after other things, especially actual coming-of-age films, particularly those featuring gay characters. Remember, it's Texas. The best response here would be for people to just not watch the film. If you want to cancel your Netflix account because you think that actually does something, go ahead. Nothing times something is still nothing, so you're doing no harm and protecting no child, so it's almost business as usual. Filing criminal charges, though, is a bit much. Instead of spending your time going after people actually trafficking and exploiting children, you're going after Netflix for distributing a film that was produced in a foreign country over a year and a half ago. But we'll see what happens. Texas has an argument on the first section of the statute, but the other two work in Netflix's favor. We'll see if this actually goes to trial. If it does, I have a feeling that this might be deemed obscene, but not necessarily the obscenity that you want. But what do I know? I'm just some guy.